In the small town of Crestwood, there lived a middle-aged man named Eric. With his fiery red hair and a perpetual scowl on his face, he was known to be a bit of a loner. Despite his tough exterior, Eric had always been a loyal friend to those who knew him well. His best friend, however, was quite the opposite. Meet Tony, a hulking bodybuilder with a heart of gold but a brain as dense as a brick. One fateful day, a high-profile trial was underway in Crestwood. Eric, being the only witness to a brutal crime, was called to testify against a notorious gang leader named Viper Russo. The courtroom was buzzing with anticipation, as everyone knew that Eric's testimony could be the key to finally putting Viper behind bars for good. As the trial progressed, tensions began to rise. Viper's gang, known for their ruthless tactics, had a reputation for intimidating witnesses. Eric's nerves were on edge, but he found solace in Tony's unwavering support. Little did Eric know that Tony's loyalty would soon take a disastrous turn. One evening, as Eric sat in his dimly lit apartment, he received a phone call. The voice on the other end was unmistakable. It was Tony. But instead of the usual jovial banter, Tony's voice was filled with menace. In a fit of misguided loyalty, Tony threatened the witness, unaware of the consequences his actions would bring. The following day, chaos erupted in the courtroom. The prosecution presented damning evidence of witness intimidation, and it all pointed directly at Eric. The jury, swayed by the compelling case against him, found him guilty of witness tampering. The judge, appalled by the severity of the crime, sentenced Eric to a lengthy prison term. As the iron bars clanged shut behind him, Eric's heart sank. He couldn't comprehend how his best friend could have betrayed him in such a way. Tony, oblivious to the consequences of his actions, continued his life as if nothing had happened, unaware of the tragedy he had caused. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and Eric's spirit began to fade within the cold, unforgiving walls of the prison. The only thing that kept him going was the flicker of hope that justice would one day prevail. Meanwhile, Tony's guilt began to gnaw at him. The realization of his foolishness struck him like a lightning bolt. He couldn't bear the thought of his best friend suffering for a crime he didn't commit. Determined to make amends, Tony embarked on a quest to uncover the truth and clear Eric's name. Through countless hours of investigation, Tony discovered the true mastermind behind the witness intimidation scheme. It turned out that Viper Russo, desperate to avoid conviction, had orchestrated the entire plan from behind bars. Armed with this newfound evidence, Tony vowed to bring it to light and restore Eric's freedom. With unwavering determination, Tony fought tooth and nail to expose the truth. He tirelessly gathered evidence, sought out witnesses, and even risked his own safety to uncover the depths of Viper's corruption. Slowly but surely, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. Finally, after months of tireless effort, Tony stood before the court, armed with irrefutable evidence that would exonerate Eric. The truth was revealed, and the real culprits were brought to justice. Eric, who had lost all hope, stood in disbelief as his name was cleared and his freedom was restored. United once again, Eric and Tony vowed to never let anything come between their friendship. They had both learned the hard way that loyalty can sometimes blind us, but true friendship can withstand even the darkest of storms. And so, as the sun set over the town of Crestwood, Eric and Tony walked side by side, ready to face whatever challenges life would throw their way. For they had learned that redemption is not only found in the pursuit of justice but also in the unwavering bonds of friendship.